The fans are very mad about how that ended. That was awesome. I love these seats. I'm not bitter anymore. I'm happy. I'm happy now.
First game for the Fort Wayne Football Club is in the books. I'm gonna break down my experience. I was there, I was reporting, vlogging the whole night, and I'm gonna break down the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I'm gonna give an honest opinion. I'm gonna have some criticisms of what went down, but I do wanna start with saying, overall, I think this is wonderful for the city. I had a great time. Shout out Ruoff, Mark Music, everyone that put a lot of time and effort into this, all the construction crews. I know you guys were working through the night, doing everything you could to get it ready, but it still was not without its hiccups. But overall, I think it was a big night. It was a big night for the city, and I think the best is yet to come. I'm gonna get into some of the things that maybe didn't go so great, but before I do, I wanna make sure I'm being very clear. You know, if you followed my content, I do not post negativity. I try to stay focused on the positives. I don't hate on people publicly. I don't criticize people publicly. But at the same time, you know, a lot went into this, a lot of taxpayer money went into this, and I'm gonna have some feedback. And you know, if this gets passed along to someone who has some control over what's going on, I think that would be good, because there were some things that I think could have been handled better. But I'm not doing it to shame anyone. I don't think anyone should be fired, like nothing like that. This is just me sharing my experience. Okay, first I'm gonna start with the seats I bought. So, you know, this is lower level minor league soccer. I spent over $400. I forget the exact total. I think it was around $450. That is not like me. If you know me, I generally tend to be a frugal guy. I'm always trying to find inexpensive fun for my family, but you know, this was a night of history, and so I wanted to make sure I was there. We were second row, midfield, and we were on the west side of the stadium so that we would have our back to the sun, so I was very excited for that. So I've been promoting it a lot, putting it on social media, getting my drone out, doing as much as I can to drive interest and, you know, try to help, you know, contribute to packing the house. So I was very excited. So the morning of game day, obviously very excited, Saturday morning, and I get an email. It was kind of vague, but it was basically saying that we were being moved. And essentially we were being moved from our seats into the top corner on the other side. So we would be in the upper decks and facing the sun. So I was obviously very disappointed. I get it. I get that they were trying to make it work. I think that could have been handled a little bit differently. And the email was pretty vague. I responded and they basically said, we understand your frustrations and we'll do our best to have a fair and equitable resolution, which fair and equitable is very subjective. I think maybe a refund would have been in mine, or if I had known about these challenges earlier, I would have just bought different seats. I would have got the best available seating as soon as I knew my seats weren't available. So again, I had the luxury of, you know, saying, well, this is what I would have done. But, you know, I think it would have been nice for the people who really invested in some of the best seats in the house to make, you know, we got moved to some of the worst seats in the house. So it's like, I would have, again, taken best available if I had known a little sooner. So I wasn't thrilled about that, but it's not the end of the world. So we also paid for parking passes. So we paid for parking in advance. We knew that obviously first day there was gonna be some kinks to work out. It was gonna be crowded. We definitely should have left earlier. My wife and my family, we went to dinner beforehand. Dinner took a little longer than expected, but we still hit the road probably about 6:45 for a 7:30 game start. And we were only like 10-15 minutes away. We ended up looping around Flower Road, and instead of coming in on Bass Road, which is normally the quicker way, and we sat there for over a half hour, less than a half mile from the stadium. Again, listen, it is what it is. I think this is something I think that will be worked out. I'm confident it'll be worked out. Again, I'm just sharing my experience. So, you know, I got moved. Now we're sitting in traffic. About a half hour goes by. We go about a half a mile, and we're missing the start of the game. We're 3 cars from the entrance. There's only 2 more cars in front of us. They shut the parking lot down and said it was full. And I think the guy in front of me said something kind of rude to the guy who shut it down, because he started, you know, getting into it with him. So when we rolled up to ask, like, hey, you know, where do we go? Like, what are our options here? Especially, again, we paid for parking in advance. We had a parking pass that we were charged for. And then they shut it down after waiting that long in line. And he, I don't want to be too critical of this person. He just had people yelling at him, but he wasn't super friendly and he wasn't very helpful with where we were supposed to go. It was basically like, you're on your own, you can go figure it out. So now, the game has already started. We can't get into the parking lot that we already paid for, and our seats have been moved. So I'll admit, I was a little grumpy pants. My wife and kids, they were great. They didn't care. They were like, we're gonna have fun no matter what. I probably could have handled it a hair better, not outwardly towards anyone, just in my mind, I was definitely a little cranky, but I can admit that. So we ended up parking at a park. Thank God, Buckner's Park. We were one of the first ones in there. It filled up right away. We were lucky enough to park somewhat nearby and walk over. There were 4 goals scored in the game total, and we missed the first 3 of them. And then right when we were sitting down, the 4th one was scored. So, we basically missed all the best action, and it just wasn't going to plan. So, that part of it was a little disappointing. It was very clear that they just weren't ready. Whoever was running this just wasn't quite ready for the night. And, again, long term, no concerns. I think this is gonna be big, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute, but that was our experience. Then the night started to turn around. So my daughter and I, we ended up deciding at halftime, let's just go walk around. Let's just go see the stadium. I wanted to get some footage for the vlog. And so, and we were having fun at this point. We were settled in, it was all good. Everybody around us was in a good mood. And there was definitely a buzz. We went over, I was like, let's just see what our seats would have, what it looked like, because we could see them across from where we were sitting. They were just concrete. There was actually no like chairs or seats installed. And so we went down there and checked it out. I'm like, whoa, like down in the field is awesome. Like if you can get those seats, if you're blessed enough to be able to afford them, I would definitely recommend doing it. It was really cool. So my daughter and I stood there for a little while, and I'm like, man, like no one's around, no one's saying anything or doing anything. I'm like, I wonder if we could just sit here on the concrete slab. Like I wouldn't have minded that. It's a better view. So I went, talked to one of the employees and explained, I said, hey, I showed her, I was like, we've got the tickets, like this is where we would have sat. Are you okay with us just sitting on the concrete? We don't have a problem with it. And God bless her, she was like, you know what? There are some seats. They were basically right middle of the field, right next to Fort Wayne Football Club's bench in the second row. So I ended up calling my wife, my father, and my brother. They all came down, and we were able to sit in the second row midfield for the second half. So they made it up to us, and wow, like again, if you can get down there, I was blown away. You can see so much better. Now, I will say there's not a bad seat in the house, and I'm gonna get into some of the things I do like. One of them being, there's not a bad seat in the house. So we could see fine from where we were, but when you're down there, you can see the pushing, the pulling, the guys getting into it. It was awesome. Like they're right in front of you. You can pretty much reach out and touch them. They're so close to you. So those seats are fantastic and were designed wonderfully. So I'm gonna get into some of the things I do like. Again, not a bad seat in the house. The layout is excellent. It's very, very cool. I can see, once all the stadium is ready and we can have people in all the seats, I can see that place rocking, especially if there's a big game or something like that. That was super fun. Something else I liked was there was a buzz in the air. Like people were excited. Fort Wayne, I think, is gonna support this thing. Like we are not known as a soccer town in general. I've talked to some of my friends, through DMs and stuff like that, and they were saying like Fort Wayne has always had a diehard soccer scene. It's just been kind of underground, kind of under the radar. And I think now these soccer fans or these football fans are having a chance to kind of have an outlet and show their love and passion for the sport. And it was definitely memories made. Like I'm telling you, there was a buzz in the air. It was super fun. Once I got over being cranky pants, it was all good, and I really, really enjoyed myself. There's still a long way to go. They got to get more seating in, the landscaping, finish all that off. There's going to be a kids area on the back. You could see the turf, but there's going to be a kids area, bounce houses, play, stuff like that. There's also going to be a giant screen that wasn't installed yet. So they got a lot of things to work out. Again, I am very optimistic. I think this is fantastic. At first, I was a little disappointed in the area because there was talk of it being on the north side of the river downtown, which is where that sports complex is gonna go. I thought that would have been a home run there. But I thought this is pretty cool. If they can get the parking worked out, maybe if they can acquire some of the land that's for sale across the street, make that parking, I think that would really, because the seating thing, that was a short-term thing. That's not always gonna happen, and I understand that. The parking thing, they're gonna have figured out because they've got 3 roads coming into a roundabout that channels into the stadium. So it's not ideal. They're gonna have to make some changes there. But I think concerts are gonna be awesome. If you live in the area, I think it'll be cool to walk or ride your bike or whatever, rollerblade, whatever you can do to get over there. I think that would be very fun. So I think this is a massive step for the city. I think this is us taking it up a notch. I think the Tin Caps, definitely that was the case there. And I think this is going up another notch where it's like, we've got some great entertainment. I'm telling you, down on the field, even up top it was nice, but man, down on the field, it was special. My daughters were blown away the next morning. Like, as soon as they woke up, they were like, that was so fun, Dad, that was so cool. And you know, the action is so close that like they'd run up and kick a ball and my daughters would flinch, you know? So I definitely recommend giving it a shot. I think this is gonna be a home run. Despite my criticisms, despite some of my critiques, I'm optimistic they're gonna get it worked out. So if you could do me 2 favors. Number 1, make sure you subscribe to Jake in Fort Wayne. I appreciate you watching the video if you're still here. And number 2, get out, check out a soccer game. It was so much fun, memories made for my family, and I know we'll be back. I hope you have the same experience, and we'll catch you on the next video.